Welcome to the Tradies in Business podcast with your hosts Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Divert your phone and grab a brew as Waz and Nic unpack tips, tales, secrets and stuff-ups from guests both inside and outside your trade, helping educate and inspire you to break the cycle of gut-busting and money stress and create a true trade business.
Happy Good Friday.
Oh,
We're
hello.
both
We just
talking.
talked over each other.
I know,
We're
that's
still
terrible.
talking over each other. We should stop doing that.
Hello, listeners. Happy Good Friday.
G'day, listeners. All the wishes of the day to you. I don't even know what
That
to
was
say anymore.
really
about
uninspiring.
all of our holidays and stuff. It's like we have so many. What is it? Rules,
Yes. Faux pas.
guidelines about what's appropriate to talk about and what's not appropriate to talk about, that now I just feel like a lot of these days and holidays and events and everything, it's like I don't even know how to talk about it, so maybe I just won't.
You know
I'll
what?
pretend it's not even happening.
Here it is. It's Good Friday. You're having a day
Yeah.
off today because God died on the cross. Whether you like it or not, that's why you're having a day off. I don't
Yeah.
really care what persuasion you
Well,
follow.
Jesus did.
Yes, well,
God
sorry.
didn't die.
That's true. I'm going to get hate mail again. But it
Way
is
to
as
piss
simple
off
as that,
all the
right?
Christians.
I know. But does it really matter? Can we not just talk freely about why we've got a day off work today? Is that not all
I know.
right? Why do we have
Well,
to be so considered and
It's
so
not because
careful?
a bunny crapped out some chocolate eggs.
Oh,
Like,
let's tell our kids a bunch of lies. Anyway, I'm going to get ranty if we start on that one.
the whole Easter thing is a Christian tradition.
It is.
And
So
yes,
is Christmas.
Jesus did die on the cross today.
Yes,
and
Jesus, not
everyone's
God.
more than happy to take a day off for it, whether they believe in it or not. So there you go. It's Good Friday.
So interestingly, because we're really good at segues, I did not tell you what I wanted to talk about today, but you've just led me straight into it, and it's not religion.
Wow. I'm impressed. You're segueing off a Waz segue.
You've segued
And
for
I
me.
didn't even segue.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
You had no
I'm-
idea.
I'm like third party segueing now.
Oh my God. You're just increasing
I've
your
reached
status.
like full ninja level segueing.
Oh, what's his name? Oh, I've forgotten his name. Oh, it's going to come to me. Chuck Norris.
What's his name?
You're the Chuck Norris of segues.
Oh my gosh, I've just pulled a Chuck Norris level segue. I don't do segues. Other people do segues next to me.
Oh, I'm impressed. So you did one for me without even knowing. Because I want to talk today about, I don't want to talk about business. I don't want to talk about
Aw.
tradies. Nope, not
Really?
today.
You don't want
Having
to
a
talk about
tradie day
business on
off.
Good Friday?
No, I don't. And I don't want to talk about that virus either. So we're going to talk about something completely different.
Cyrus the virus.
People will love it or hate it, but either way, I want to talk about tradition. Let's
Tradition.
talk about the traditions we had as kids for Good
Ah,
Friday.
Yes.
Because we're all a bit different, right? Because we do all celebrate these things differently, regardless of our persuasions.
Mhm.
I wanted to talk about the tradition of Good Friday, what you do, what you didn't do when you're a kid. So,
Right.
do you want me to start or are you going to start?
You start because my answer is going to be very, very short.
You didn't do anything,
Exactly.
didn't you?
I grew up in a house of atheists.
Okay, so we weren't particularly God-friendly or Jesus-friendly.
God doesn't love you?
I'm not sure that he would this week after my rants and carries on. But we still had traditions. We still did the same sort of things every year. And it wasn't camping. Surprise, surprise. I know we're all upset we can't camp.
That's
this year,
very un-Australian of you, Coxie.
as I'm told so many times. No, we didn't go camping. But you know what we did? We had hot cross buns every Good Friday
yeah,
for
we did that.
breakfast. Every year.
Oh, we had them for smoko.
Did you? Did you not
Yeah.
have breakfast as a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So you
breakfast for me as a kid was generally some form of cardboard cereal covered in skim milk and sugar.
delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, can't imagine why I had so many health issues.
No.
Yeah, no, we would have breakfast, but then, yeah, hot cross buns for morning tea for about the next week.
Oh no, we only ever had them on the one day.
Oh, really?
Yep, I think it was a luxury item in our household because, Dad was a tradie. So, so was yours. But we,
Yeah.
no, they were a bit of a luxury item. Mum would often make them. we would have them for that day and that day alone. Hot cross buns, best bloody day of the year. I love hot cross buns. So we would
I
have
used to
those.
really like them, hey. There's a particular way, if I was to ever eat a hot cross bun again, there is a particular way to prepare it.
With lots of butter.
Well, that's a definite, but it's also about how you split it, whether you grill it both sides or one side or at all, what temperature the bun is, what level of crispness before you put the butter on. Do you spread the butter or do you slice the butter and lay it on about half an inch thick?
Yes.
So I was very particular. Well, I'm very particular about lots of things, I guess, as you know.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah, screw you. So yeah, hot cross buns was probably about it. But as you unfold a bunch of traditions, I'll probably go, oh yeah, we did that too. After saying, no, we didn't do anything.
Well, we would every year, except there's only one I can remember we didn't do it. I grew up on the Redcliffe Peninsula in Brisbane or near Brisbane, and near us is where the Brisbane to Gladstone yacht race would take off at Sandgate.
Oh, yeah.
So every year we would go to the cliffs at Sandgate and watch the race take off. It's the most boring freaking thing I've ever done in my life. However, I still do it as an adult frequently, not all the time. Obviously not this year. But it's made for a great family joke this year. And that is, you thought Good Friday was boring before coronavirus, and now all of a sudden we've got a whole new ninja level, Chuck Norris level of boring for Good Friday. There's nothing to do at all, nothing on TV, nothing. Well, we've got Netflix now, that helps, but nothing. No shops are open. Can't go to the movies. Can't do anything. Boring.
You just have to sit at home and stare at your family members.
I know, but I'm not long back from a bushwalk, so I have done something. We went. You're allowed to go for a walk.
Oh yeah, Queensland.
You've got to stay in your own postcode. Yeah, you got to stay in your own postcode. So we took the dogs for a walk, but we're lucky to have some little sneaky bushwalks, within a 5-minute drive from here, which is still in my postcode.
Okay. Like a council reserve sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So
because all the national parks are closed, I think, aren't they?
They are. So these are walking trails only. The picnic areas have been barricaded off, so you couldn't stop or pause if you wanted to. But we thought we'd do something different this year and go for a walk, which the dogs really enjoyed. Now I'm enjoying a coffee while I chat with you. And I may even think about a bun at some point in time today. But yes, so we would go and watch the Brisbane to Gladstone yacht race.
Are you thinking about the builder's buns?
I'm not going to answer that either. I might incriminate myself.
Well, we're still in quarantine. That was my way of bleeping out something. We're still in quarantine down here in Taswegia. So we won't be doing anything or going anywhere or seeing anybody or certainly not eating buns, because even if we wanted to, we couldn't get the damn things because you're not allowed to leave for groceries either.
So can you create a new tradition while you're there? Yeah,
it's called stare at each other across the table.
I think that you could be more inventive than that.
Naked?
Okay.
Well, Jesus was almost naked on the cross.
He didn't have much on, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to after we finish this, we're going to go for a wander around the paddocks on our little property here and go talk to the horse,
Mr.
Horse, and aptly supported by our leaping Labrador, who's a little bit loopy. He's loving life on the farm, hey?
I knew he would.
If ever there was a life.
Dog needing a farm, it was yours.
Oh, he is living his best life. It was pretty funny. I was doing some work on our chook house because I'm sort of refashioning an old woodshed on the farm here that we're renting into a chook house. And Amy, my wife, has been very gratefully cleaning out all the old hay and the dead mice and rats and stuff that were in this old woodshed.
Lovely.
And I was in there doing a bit of sort of farm carpentry, putting in some timber perches and building some nest boxes. And it's like I could smell this dead stuff. I'm like, there must be so many dead mice in here. I can still smell them. And she said, yeah, I know. It's terrible. And I've just about had enough. I'm going to go have a shower. And I stepped out of the chook house and I can still smell it. And I walked around the corner to get some pieces of timber and I can still smell it. I'm like, it's everywhere. This smell is everywhere. And I look down and here's our Labrador Baxter, following me around as he does. And I looked at him and I thought, I wonder if it's you. And I looked at him and he's got this smear of something down his back. And I bent down and very gingerly sniffed and nearly hurled because it's like, it's the dog. This smell is following me around everywhere because Baxter was literally following me around like a bad smell.
That's terrible.
So I wasn't even game to bath him because I don't want to touch him. I'm going to have to put some of those disposable gloves on that everyone's wearing for that thing we're not going to talk about. So I can actually bath the dog. I don't know what's on his back. I'm sure it's radioactive waste. But man, it reeked. I don't know what that's got to do with Good Friday, but
well, that's your new tradition, posing off the dog.
But bathing the dog, yeah. But no, we'll probably go for a walk around the paddock. We will actually take some time to I guess, appreciate the meaning of today and how it came about. And not to dig into personal beliefs or anything, but I think, it's a good day to remember sacrifices and I guess, what we can all be grateful for.
Agreed.
So we're going to take some time out to do that.
And what about, just to get back to the fun bit, because that got a bit heavy there in a minute.
That's not like me to get all deep and meaningful, is it?
No, of course not.
No.
How about Sunday on Easter? Tell me about how the Easter Bunny would visit you as a child, because I'm sure he must have at some point.
Yeah. We didn't often do the egg hunt thing.
No, I've never done an egg hunt, ever.
No. And I don't know what. Well, I think it was because we never really had friends as kids.
Oh.
Probably because I smelt like my dog. But no, and again, without going all deep and heavy stuff, I had a probably slightly different childhood to a lot of kids my age. Pardon me. That was the hot cross.
Thanks for sharing.
But no, I didn't have friends. Certainly didn't have friends over to our place. I was fortunate enough to grow up on a couple of acres on a little sort of mini farm, a little hobby farm. And but we didn't do the egg hunt thing. We definitely had chocolate. Mum and Dad would always organise the Easter Bunny thing, and we'd have our little baskets, and there'd be some crappy bloody chocolate stuff in there, and we'd eat that for breakfast on Easter Sunday. So
we weren't allowed to eat ours for breakfast. No, we were not. We're allowed to have maybe one little mini egg, although interestingly, I developed allergies and asthma, not surprisingly, as a younger child, and chocolate was one of those triggers for me. So I could
sucks to be you.
It did. I had to have stupid flippin' candy eggs.
Oh,
I know.
hate candy eggs.
They suck. Anyway, needless
Yucko.
to say, Easter doesn't mean a lot to me, but we would we did it differently for the kids. The kids got to make a nest every year. So they would go out into the paddock and rip grass and flowers and shit up and make a nest, or hay. When we had the chickens, they would pinch the chickens' hay, create a nest, and then the Easter Bunny would leave stuff in their nest. But me as a child, it was at the end of my bed, which is pretty tempting until we got to the candy eggs, and then it really wasn't at all. But the other thing we would do then is have coloured boiled eggs for breakfast. Mum would make, you'd have dippy eggs, like eggs with soft-boiled eggs with soldiers.
Yeah.
But Mum would boil them with, well, that's what you do, isn't it? You dip into the egg, dip your toast in. But Mum would put colour in the water, like food colouring, I suppose.
Oh, so the shells would colour.
Yeah. So that was always...
I remember painting them at school.
Did you ever blow an egg?
I'm not sure how to answer that question, Coxie.
Oh, God, it's only early morning. I can remember trying to do it with ostrich eggs at school. That's really hard to do.
I do remember it was. They made it look easy.
It's not.
But I don't know what the teachers were smoking, but they were much better at blowing eggs than I was. Anyway, so yeah, Good Friday, huh?
It's
I can't
a good
believe
day.
we're already here. Yeah,
I know. It's crazy.
It's
Who would have
amazing.
thought? But the point of today's episode was quite simply to get you to not think about your business today. We appreciate
and
that
I-
you joined us, but don't think about
Yeah,
it today.
thanks for tuning into a business podcast. If anybody actually did,
They did
or
in
maybe-
droves, thousands
maybe-
of them.
Maybe they'll be listening to this like in the middle of the following week when they finally get back onto the podcast, and they're like, "Oh, we should have listened to that on Friday. That would have been funny."
Yes.
And now it's not because it's not Good Friday.
Sorry.
But if you are listening to this today on Good Friday, maybe think about some new traditions. Maybe it's time for some new traditions to add or replace the old ones with.
Can you share them with us, please? We ask this all the time. Please come over to the group. We'll share a link in there. If you haven't joined yet, I don't know what you're doing. You must be living under a rock. Maybe you live in Tasmania, but that's no excuse why it's in there.
Oh, that was rough.
I know. I've been
I still have a
waiting.
Queensland driver's license. Thank you very much.
Oh, well. You're
Maybe
still
because
a
I'm not
resident.
allowed to go to the,
No.
to the government centre and get it changed.
True.
And they don't do it by post.
Don't they?
No, you have to go in person for your driver's license and rego plate changeover down here. Well, it's the same everywhere. But I'm thinking, how are you going to do that with all this lockdown crap?
Department of Transport is still open. I can speak with some sense of authority there.
Nah, yeah. Anyway, sorry, Coxie, I interrupted your beautiful little wrap up there.
I was just saying, go and join the group. Don't be a stooger. Join the group. Come and have some fun. Tell us what you think about our different podcast today on Good Friday.
And what's your tradition? Share it with us.
Please.
New or old?
Well, and can somebody create a really good one that we could all do? If you share it early enough, we can all do it.
Yeah. I need some traditions. I'm not much of a traditionalist.
But you are in so many forms.
Well, in some ways I am, but some of the other ones I'm like, meh.
Mm.
Why follow tradition with that? Maybe I like traditions, but not conventions. I don't like norms and convention. That's
Or
probably it.
authority, as we've realised this week.
Yeah, there's a great Pennywise song that I'd love to play as the outro, but we'd get sued for copyright infringement.
Can we just name it and then everyone can go and search it?
It's bleep authority because we didn't swear on this episode, so I don't want to make it explicit.
Good. The kids might be listening. Anyway, we can talk about
Exactly.
this after. Thanks for listening, listeners.
Doodles!
You've been listening to the Tradies in Business podcast with Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Find out more about today's guest, tools for your trade business, and other cool stuff at tradiesinbusiness.com.au.